Chicago. Winter 1893. Dr. Elias Crowley awoke to the sound of dripping water. His bedroom in the old mansion on Pine Street was dark, but he could hear something moving somewhere in the walls. Not mice, not rats, but something larger, something that was scratching with long nails on the wooden beams. He lit a kerosene lamp, and the light picked out from the darkness the writing on the wallpaper, fresh, as if written with wet fingers. Can you hear us, doctor? First patient, Mrs. Wilson, came to the office complaining of insomnia. There are whispers in the walls of my house, doctor, she said, nervously fiddling with her gloves. At night. They call me by name. Elias prescribed her lavender tincture. 3 days later, she was found in her own bedroom, her throat surgically slit and the words, "Thank you for the quiet," written in blood on the wall above her bed. Collector. In the police archive, Sergeant Malloy showed Elias photographs, 5 such cases in the last month. All your patients. All complained of voices in the walls. The pictures showed rooms with identical inscriptions on the walls. But the most eerie thing was that all the victims had no tongues. They were carefully removed, whispered the sergeant, as if for a collection. House on Hickory Lane. Elias found it in old records. In 1871, during the Great Chicago Fire, there was an asylum for the mentally ill on Hickory Lane. Experiments were conducted there, said the archivist, Dr. Hartwell believed that he could cut out madness. On the night of the fire, 73 patients disappeared, and Hartwell was found in the basement, with an empty skull. It was as if he had cleaned out his brain, the archivist trembled. Second inscription. Elias returned home and froze. On the mirror in the hallway was written, "They are talking through us." And from the fireplace came a rustling sound, as if someone was crawling up the chimney. Basement. The lantern illuminated the brick walls covered with names. Hundreds, thousands of names scratched with fingernails. And boxes. Dozens of small wooden boxes, neatly arranged on shelves. Elias opened one, and inside lay a dried human tongue. On the lid was a tag, Mrs. Wilson. January 12, 1893. The words, "Help, quiet, mother. Last session. You don't understand, doctor," whispered the voice in the darkness. "They don't go away. They just pass." Elias lit the lamp. In the chair opposite sat himself, but with his lips cut out and his eye sockets empty. "We collect their words," continued the double, "so that they will finally be silent." His fingers, too long, too bony, reached out to Elias. "It is your turn to bring silence." Epilogue. The mansion on Pine Street burned to the ground in March of 1893. In the ashes were found 73 small boxes, medical instruments from 1871 and a diary with the last entry, "They are now within my walls. But I have learned not to respond."